we need to understand which tariffs are eligible for refunds. And I've already said that we have fentanyl tariffs, we have reciprocal tariffs, we have IEEPA tariffs in relation to Venezuela, Brazil, and Russia, and we have the de minimis elimination. So this matters because the dates from which they are effective, are different. So this means your first claim, able under fentanyl tariffs, is from the 4th of February 2025. And you would have a specific HTS heading. So the good news is you will be able to isolate all the Chapter 99 specific HTS headings that are affected. So if you can find your customs declarations, your entry declarations, your entry summaries, and you can see what the HTS heading is that you've declared there, then you'll know if it's a 9903 or 110 or 9903 0101 or 0124, etc., then you will know this is an IEEPA tariff and it is subject to refund, and you will know how much you paid. And adding all of that up under the relevant IEEPA headings, give you the amount. The key thing is to understand that there are time limits. And if we think that we're going with our recording on April 26th, so that's 1 year and to 2 months of IEEPA payments. So that will be more than 365 days that could have been passed since you imported this, and this entry would have been liquidated by now, would have been finalized. So what's the process here? There are different cutoff points in the US legislation for customs entries. I see it like you file them in archive. Okay. So you file your customs declaration in the drawer, and then you can still pull it out. But then once it goes to the archive might not be at your building, it might be somewhere else, hidden, and to get that back is going to be difficult, right? So you want to know that some of the refund opportunities may be so far back that you have to go get that from the archive, and that's difficult. You also would be right now understanding that to track all of this back, to understand which entries are due refunds, you'd actually need copies of the entries. And that might already be a challenge because you might not have copies of the entries. So getting those from the customs brokers might be a challenge. Okay. If you've done it like we always do it. So I am working with, we have one specialized customs broker, and that customs broker is the one we always work with because they are ethical, they are wonderful, they are great, they explain everything, and they give us entry copies of the entry, and then we manage the management of these entries here for our European clients, and so that way we have a complete audit trail, and we can explain everything. So one of the things that you'll immediately see is that you don't have that entry, so you need to get that entry. Then the next thing is how do you group all of this to understand what your actually refund amount is. So you'd need to understand the Chapter 99 headings. Be that as it may, so you figure out which tariffs are eligible for refund by looking at the HTS heading in your entry summary, in your entry declaration. You also need to know that there are some tariffs that are not eligible for refund because they have nothing to do with IEEPA, such as Section 301 tariffs. They are for China, but also Section 232 tariffs. They are for steel, aluminum, auto, etc. And then there is even 201 safeguard tariffs. And also the 122 tariffs, they're also not available. So that's that. And of course, the standard duty rates under MFN column 1 tariffs, the normal trade relations, it would NTR would also not be eligible because they're just normal tariff rates. So now we're going to get to the part which does not really work for our current situation, but it is an important part in general of CBP's process. So we're going to look at that first, and then we're going to go to CAPE. So all centers around one word, and that's liquidation. Okay. So you lodge a customs declaration with an ACE. It gets accepted. It gets cleared. Then what? Okay. So we call this liquidation. Liquidation is CBP's final determination of duties owed on an import entry. The liquidation status of each entry determines which refund track you must follow. Okay. This is before CAPE came into play. So just imagine we don't have CAPE. Okay. What would you do? What would you do in normal circumstances? So this is how it traditionally works. So depending on the status of your entry, there are different routes you follow. So if it's unliquidated, okay, green, then you would have a post summary correction in the ACE portal, provided CAPE doesn't exist. You have to file it within a certain amount of days, or before even you know that there is a scheduled liquidation. Okay, and then you would be able to get that money back. Now, you know already what I'm going to say now. You are not allowed to use PSC. You're completely forbidden to use it. Okay, that's why I wrote here, wait for CAPE system launch, which is now launched. And it tells you we're not going down the PSC route. So I'm only showing this to you because under normal circumstances, we would be doing that. Then within 180 days, you have liquidated entries, okay? And this is that CBP has finalized the duty amount, but the 180-day protest window is still open, okay? And so that means you can now file a protest, and there is a refund track, and it has a 180-day window of the liquidation date. And this is then the hard deadline. So, and what you could do, you could make a protest, and therefore you can then get the money back. And this should be done quickly. But again, we have CAPE. So now CAPE, as you will see in a moment, operates on a restricted stage, stage 1. There are more stages to come, but it's currently restricted. So we have to understand very carefully if CAPE is the one for us. So we'll get to that in a moment. But just know that for unliquidated intro, the standard route is a PSC. For liquidated entries, the standard route is a protest if it is within 180 days of the liquidation. And if it's beyond 180 days, then CBP has finalized duties and protest window has closed. And then the CBP generally cannot issue refunds, okay? And so then you're looking for legal action to get the money back. So all of that is hopefully not necessary. But I would like you to understand liquidation because this is how we play this thing. Okay? So liquidation.